Hello and welcome to kind of the next part in the simulation series, but the title's too long. So this is completely unscripted, on the fly and partially untested, so I can always do another take. So as you can see, I've added this null in this group but below the spawn with an espresso tag, but it's not doing anything, and it says group 1 motion because initially we're just going to do something with those particles. So we're going to just add some soft bodies initially, so they're going to be small, and I don't know whether this helps or not. That we should be able to make them bigger than that, I suppose. If they're too big, we can change it. Oh yeah, the other thing I've done is added to the collider. It's now got a collider tag with just the back side selected. So these spheres, we are going to use a cloner in object mode, and if you haven't built this sim rig, it's quite useful. Anyway, so I'm going to put, see the previous videos in this series if you haven't built this rig. It doesn't, it takes about 15 minutes. I think I did it quite slowly. That should probably do for that. And then I think if you put the tag on the cloner and make it editable, they lose their tags. I'm not 100% sure, but they're just going to be soft bodies. And now I think if we make it editable, we keep our tags, which is useful. Let's have that one too. I'm not sure whether I've switched the gravity off or not. I haven't, so they should just fall to the base, shouldn't they? So that is that part. However, I want to put these in a connect object, even though it doesn't give an even result with what we're doing. It kind of works. Should we turn off weld and just drop those in there, and then we can get rid of that. Should still work, because quite usefully we can put a vertex map on the lot. And just to give you an example, I'm not going to do this right now, but think if we put this group in here, what do we want to be in here? Obviously they're being affected by the ones that they're surrounding, but there we are. Just to give you an example of why it's kind of useful to have, we haven't got anything else that's going to mess us up. Like if we quickly grab some turbulence and take this opportunity to lose the gravity, and just show this again. Just tweak these settings. Now we're so very simple use for having particles in your scene. I'm going to ditch that for the time being, because that's not what this is about. The other reason for having done the previous videos is that we're going to use a node, and right, we're going to do one more thing, which is take a null and just rename that, and just draw a quick spline like that, and I'm always using my structure manager to do this bit, which is kind of why I've got this set up. And as I say, I haven't done these dimensions. I reckon we can probably go, I'll push our part effectors at 100 in it, so I'm going to go like that, see how we get on, and maybe do some longer ones. And then we're going to want to subdivide these. 3 points is fine, it's just kind of establishing something that works. Take a B-spline, I like uniform, and a rope belt. Check you did select point naught, and I must admit I use the A because I'm very often putting them at both ends. Now if we clone that, I suppose we better also give it, and let's just drop that so it's the child of this, otherwise your nulls will disappear, I think. And almost certainly give this a rope tag now, and put this in object mode. And we've said group 1 motion, so we want to clone onto group 1. And then pop this in here and make it editable. And if you kind of know about doing stuff like this with splines, it looks a bit worrying, but we coloured the particles, so I should have done some yellow ones first perhaps. And unfortunately, is there something I want to do that's a bit outrageous here? I think there probably is. I think for there's kind of like a next step, which perhaps I won't do in this video, where I want to extract these from the hierarchy, which is just control clicking them, and then putting those into a connect object, which I can put a matrix object on, and then we can attack these splines with another group with them, kind of the same technique I'm going to show you. So okay, that's me messing up my studio. What's actually happening now? These will probably be blowing about, which we don't want. It's going to be a bit excessive because we're going to be moving these splines. We want to exclude this turbulence from them, and hopefully we won't have any problems doing this. But I was doing this earlier, and when I tried to exclude the second force, I'd done exactly the same as what I just did, and it just said mixed and wouldn't let me drop them in. So I don't know quite what's going on there, because I don't think I was doing anything odd. So we won't add any forces to the rope at the minute, but basically I do give them a bit of turbulence generally, but I also give them a bit of friction because they're moving on a spring system. It gets a bit chaotic. Now for this bit I'm vaguely out of practice, but we're going to need a p pass node, and we're going to be passing group 1. And we are also going to want information about what we're doing with these. So we want our connect object, and in your user presets, which hopefully you've created, the get cache node, we should turn yellow if it's unhappy, and then get a nearest point node, and then it may be as simple as doing this. Open the position port, change that from constant to, I'm going to want it to be pretty low probably, so that's going to be our position. We also want to get data node. So we take our particle, and we're also feeding in there, but we are getting our position from here, which is our global position on the get nearest point node. So just make sure that's ordered. And pretty much see what happens, I think. So if we change the spring speed, it'll be much more obvious what's happening. And this is the kind of disadvantage of being lazy. And there's kind of like a lot you can do to introduce a bit more variety, even when you're being lazy. Like, you could use repulse and bounce with this same group 1 in both groups, and literally force them to not do that clustering, but it's a little bit calculation heavy. So that's that bit. It's not perfect, but if we now do the next thing we have to do, which is take a linked list which we need to populate with these nulls. So that worked well so far anyway. That's just our index, which we're going to drive from here, and I think we've done that bit. We're driving this linked list. We want this position, don't we? So if we, this is possibly lazy, just do that, and the global position. Oh, try that from there. It's one of those does it work moments. Success. I nearly did a Count Dracula impersonation. So I might as well crack on really. If we take an AB node and just drop, I might just delete this, but it's a demonstration. I don't know. They should be spaced apart, shouldn't they? So if we take a repulse and bounce node, drive them and just give these arbitrary values. I haven't done any testing at all. I wonder what happens. I know what I think should happen. Well, we don't cluster. Let's just bang this up. Oh. So next step, this is turbulent softs. If we just copy that and just change it to turbulence rope 1, because there's almost certainly going to be more rope, and we now want to exclude that from our soft bodies, don't we? So there shouldn't be any issues here because it's the first one. So now possibly the only thing we want to do here is drop it down, because these are small bits of rope and that just annoys me. Let's click on a tag. If we come into our, I'm actually just going to save this because it didn't go horribly wrong. Spawn rig, what should we call this? Oh, I like to call them so I can recognize them. That's for populate. I wanted to do populate, simulate, so I could do copulate and stimulate, which will be like Patreon versions. But did you see my last video? Because that is a soft body which can eat and has a cloaca and can be inseminated and have babies, even though it's very crude. But I might do it on the channel, or get them to do it on the channel, because that would be great. So what I'm going to do, because that went reasonably well, is call that a day there and do the next version and actually test it, because I want to use the way we chased this to get another group of rope to separately like remora these, but detach and, you know, do another group. So I'm doing my R&D live on YouTube, so I hope that's been useful, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. All the best, bye.